Have you ever wondered what would happen if spring simply refused to visit a place? What if flowers stopped blooming, birds stopped singing, and even the sunlight seemed reluctant to shine there? Before listening to the story, you are requested to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is the remarkable story of a giant who possessed the most beautiful garden anyone had ever seen, yet lived with a heart closed to kindness and compassion. It is a story about loneliness, transformation, and the extraordinary power of a single act of love. Long ago, there lived a giant. He was enormous in size, wealthy beyond measure, and owner of a magnificent castle. Behind his castle stretched a vast garden unlike any other. Soft green grass covered the ground. Colorful flowers bloomed in every corner. Fruit trees stood tall, their branches heavy with sweet fruit. From dawn until dusk, birds filled the air with beautiful songs. During spring, the garden seemed almost magical, as though nature itself had chosen it as its favorite place. Every afternoon after school, the village children gathered there. They climbed the trees, they ran across the grass, they laughed together. Their joyful voices echoed throughout the garden, bringing life and happiness to everything around them. The birds seemed happier when the children were there. The trees swayed gently in the breeze. The entire garden flourished with energy and joy. Then one day, everything changed. After spending 7 years away, visiting another giant in a distant land, the giant finally returned home. As he approached his castle, he noticed children playing throughout his garden. Instantly, anger filled his face. "What are you doing here?" he thundered. The frightened children froze. "This is my garden," the giant shouted. "My garden alone. No one else has any right to be here." Terrified, the children ran away. The garden fell silent. The very next morning, the giant ordered workers to build a massive wall around the entire property. The wall rose high above the trees. No one could see inside. No one could enter. At the entrance, he placed a large sign: "Trespassers will be punished." The giant admired his work. He believed he had protected what belonged to him, but he did not realize what he had truly locked away. Outside the wall, the children gathered sadly. They remembered the days when they had played beneath the trees. "It was our favorite place," one child whispered. "Nothing feels the same anymore," another replied. Now they played along dusty roads and narrow paths. But the joy they once felt was gone. Soon spring arrived across the land. Flowers blossomed, trees turned green. Birds began singing. Warm sunlight spread over fields and villages. Everywhere life awakened, everywhere except the giant's garden. Inside the walls, winter remained. Snow covered the grass. Ice clung to the branches. Cold winds swept through the empty garden. The birds stayed away. The flowers refused to bloom. Silence ruled every corner. According to the old tale, spring approached the garden but found no children there. The trees mourned their absence. The birds missed their laughter. The flowers longed for their happiness. And so spring turned away. Winter stayed behind. Weeks became months. Months became years. The giant watched in confusion. Why does spring never come, he wondered. Summer arrived elsewhere, but not there. Autumn painted the world in gold, but not there. His garden remained trapped in endless winter. For the first time in his life, the giant felt truly alone. The songs of birds were gone. The fragrance of flowers had vanished. The laughter that once filled the air had disappeared. Even his great castle felt empty. Yet still he failed to understand why. Then, one extraordinary morning, he awoke to a sound he had not heard in years. Birdsong, beautiful, cheerful birdsong. Startled, he hurried to his window. The sight before him left him speechless. A small opening had appeared in the wall. Through it, the children had returned. They were climbing trees once again. And wherever the children stood, spring had returned with them. Flowers bloomed instantly. Birds sang from the branches. Green grass spread across the ground. Life flowed back into the garden. Yet in one distant corner, winter still lingered. There stood a small child beneath a tree. Again and again, the child tried to climb its branches. But he was too small. The tree bent low, trying to help him. Still, he could not reach. As the giant watched, something unexpected happened. For the first time he felt sorrow. For the first time he saw his own selfishness. How selfish I have been, he thought. Now I understand why spring never came. Tears filled his eyes. Quietly, he left the castle and walked into the garden. The children saw him approaching and fled in fear, all except the little child. The child had not noticed him. The giant gently lifted him into his arms and carefully placed him among the branches. The moment the child touched the tree, a miracle occurred. Flowers burst into bloom. Birds began singing. The tree became alive with color and beauty. The other children stopped and stared in amazement. Slowly they returned. Then the giant spoke. "Children," he said softly, "this garden belongs to you as much as it belongs to me." And with his own hands he tore down the wall that had imprisoned happiness. From that day forward, the children returned every day. The garden became more beautiful than ever before, not because the flowers were brighter, not because the trees were taller, but because it was now filled with friendship, kindness, and love. The giant spent his days watching the children play. For the first time, he was truly happy. Yet one question remained in his heart. What had happened to the little child? The same child who had changed everything. The giant searched for him every day, but he never appeared. Years passed. The giant grew old. His hair turned white. His strength faded. But he remained content, surrounded by the laughter of children. Then, one winter morning, he looked out his window and saw something extraordinary. Standing beneath a tree was the little child. A gentle light surrounded him. The tree above him was covered in golden blossoms. The giant hurried outside. "My child," he said joyfully, "where have you been all these years?" As he approached, he noticed marks on the child's hands and feet. The giant became angry. "Who hurt you?" he asked. "Tell me, and I will punish them." The child smiled. "These are the wounds of love," he replied. The giant stood in silent wonder. Then the child spoke once more. "One day you welcome me into your garden. Today I have come to take you to my garden, a garden where spring never ends." That afternoon, the children found the giant lying peacefully beneath the tree. His face was calm. Above him, the branches were covered with white blossoms. It seemed as though spring itself had embraced him forever. The story of the selfish giant reminds us of a timeless truth. Love does not diminish when it is shared. It grows. The highest walls are often not made of stone or brick, but of selfishness and pride. And sometimes, a single act of kindness is enough to transform an entire life. A heart that opens itself to others becomes a place where spring lives forever. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more timeless and heartwarming stories.